Luca going to LA. We could we could do a whole show on that. But really, and one day there will be a documentary, 30 for 30 about that trade. Maybe one day LeBron James, if LeBron James ever sat down and wrote a tell-all book where he was 100% honest, man, that would be a hell of a read. I'll tell you that much. But as far as the NBA trade deadline, Jimmy Butler. It's in a year where NBA ratings are down. It's just so convenient that the biggest trade that we have seen in the NBA in so long happens. The off-season stuff is I saw a tweet where somebody said NBA trade deadline is more exciting than the actual NBA games, and that's 100% facts because
It is.
Luca and LeBron playing together, Kyrie and Anthony Davis playing together. De'Aaron Fox got sent to San Antonio. He'll be playing with Victor Wembanyama now. Brandon Ingram gets sent to Toronto. You saw a lot of big names move. We'll go ahead and wrap it up with the Pistons. The Detroit Pistons ended up making a couple moves. They had a lot of salary cap. They went out and they got three. No, I think they ended up at the end of the day, they ended up with adding 2 more second-round draft picks. Their draft capital is at a terrible spot, so Trajan Langdon has a tough job trying to restock the draft capital of the team. So he did a good job during this trade deadline. He got 2 second-round draft picks, and he picked up 2 guys that I think are going to be interesting on this team. The most notable one and the one everybody knows is Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has been in the league for a few years now. I think he won a championship with maybe the Golden State Warriors a couple years back. But he's a perennial 6-man, secondary point guard. He could play some. He's got a great offensive game, so he could get you buckets if need be. He could distribute the ball, good handle. Made his name with the Atlanta Hawks, so that was a good pickup. A veteran presence on the team, somebody to give K some time on the bench if he needs a blow. But that being said, I am very, very intrigued with this guy, Lindy Waters, the third, a Native American basketball player. You don't see those too often. But my man, I saw him involved in the trade, and I asked people. I said, "Who the hell is Lindy Waters?" And somebody told me he was a detective in a Netflix show, and I was like,
"Oh wow,
you might as well be with a fake name like that." But no, this guy, man, after he got traded, I started to look into him, man, and he came in the league. I can't remember he was drafted by Golden State or no, he was drafted. I believe he was drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you even watched the Thunder the other night, and you know that team is full of young, talented players. So,
yeah, I like what I saw from them. This is the first basketball game that I kind of somewhat enjoyed in a long time, but it was a blowout, so it was still kind of like,
the thing with them, man, is that they're just a young team, and they got talent all across the board. So finding minutes in that rotation is going to be difficult for any young player. So he ended up getting traded to the Golden State Warriors. And they are another team that's full of young players. Obviously, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins was there. He got traded in that Jimmy Butler deal. But outside of that, it's a bunch of young players. So you're going to have an opportunity to go out there. And Steve Kerr finally put him out there during one game. He had a great game. I think this is that game, 21 points. But as you see, man, he's just a solid shooter. He's a solid player. He plays defense. He's long. I like his build. And he just seems hungry to get out there and prove himself in the league. And the Pistons are the perfect place for him to do that. Like I said, he's trying to find minutes with the Thunder. He's trying to find minutes with the Warriors. Those are championship caliber teams, so he's not really going to find those. But the Pistons are trying to find themselves, find a niche in this league. And I think right now we got a guy, Simone Fontecchio. I think given a month, man, Fontecchio probably gets about 16 minutes a game, maybe. And I think if you give it a month and this guy does what I think he's capable of doing, I think he's going to fit right in, and he's going to take those 16 minutes that Fontecchio's getting and work his way into the rotation. So I'm excited to see how that plays out.
All right, so with these trades being made, you know what I'm saying, where does that put the Detroit Pistons in this league? How far do they make it this year? And then, you know, I got to ask my number one question. How does this affect Jaden Ivey next year? Like, where does he fit in next year?
So the five. So I give Trajan Langdon coming into the league. I give Trajan 5 years, right? And on my timeline, he gets 1 year to get the Pistons at a level where they compete. He gets another year to flirt with the playoffs, and he gets 2 years to make this team Eastern Conference. You know, power not power, but contend for the Eastern Conference championship. And then I give him a 5th year somewhere in there to mess around and have a bad season. And right now, he's ahead of schedule. He's going to right now. The Pistons are, as it stands, I believe last I heard they were a 6th seed in the East right now. But at the end of the day, I think they might find themselves flirting with the play-in. But if they could bypass the play-in and just get right into the playoffs, that would be phenomenal. They didn't adding Dennis Schroeder is a need that they needed, because once Cade sat down, they didn't really have a backup point guard. So I think Dennis Schroeder will be a great fit for the team in that sense. I told you I stand by the idea of moving on from Jaden Ivey and using him in a trade, but by bringing in Schroeder, that could go either way. Schroeder is on a 1-year deal, so his deal is up this year. But and this is all based on one thing I heard somebody say. But somebody said that by getting Schroeder, you're gonna basically put a bandage on that Jaden Ivey role on the team, and Schroeder's essentially going to play the role of Jaden Ivey. Now, did they mean that that's going to be Cade's, second man, or did they just mean that that's going to be the backup point guard that Jaden Ivey would occasionally play the role of? So I think it's more so that he's going to be just the backup point guard. He's not going to actually try to pretend to be Jaden Ivey out there on the court. I think Trajan's going to give Ivey a chance to get back on the court with the Pistons. I don't think he's going to trade him before he gets that opportunity. I think he's going to continue to see what he's got in Jaden Ivey.
Detroit basketball.